Good evening. A regular board of the Board of Trustees of Socorro Independent School District will be held Thursday, February 23rd, 2023. And the time is 6 o'clock. If you will please, we do have quorum, by the way. If you will please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. We do have a special guest here tonight that's gonna say the Pledge of Allegiance for us. And he is at Butler Elementary School. His name is Oliver Peña. He is a 7-year-old. And you are in second grade, right? Are you a second grader?
Yes, sir.
All right. And he is a straight A student. That is awesome. Oliver has, yes. Oliver has reaped the benefits of James P. Butler's blended learning and gifted and talented programs. Wow. A fan of computer games like Minecraft, Oliver enjoys how blended learning integrates digital technology into the reading lessons while also preparing himself for the technological soft skills that he is using to grow up in a digital world. From our STEAM and Computer Science Academy to our robotics program, Oliver has many learning opportunities in SISD ahead of him. In the meantime, he is happily excelling in school, running track, building robots out of Legos. Wow, Oliver, that is awesome. Congratulations, Oliver. You can read more about Oliver's accomplishment at sisd.net. Please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Oliver. You may be seated. At this time, we have the superintendent's comments. Dr. Carmen?
Thank you, Mr. Mena. Thank you, Oliver. Good evening, President Mena, members of the board, and to our Socorro ISD community. I want to begin by asking everyone to join me in wishing Board Vice President Pablo Barrera and Trustee Cynthia Nájera a belated happy birthday. Mr. Barrera's birthday was on February 9th, and Mrs. Nájera's was on February 19th. Happy birthday to each of you. I hope it was a great one. Yesterday, we celebrated our Teacher of the Year Elite 8 reception, where we recognized all 49 Campus Teachers of the Year, and we named our Elite 8 teacher finalists. Congratulations to all of our teachers for their outstanding work and for being inspirational educators. And a big congratulations to the Elite 8 finalists. We had a wonderful event. Thank you all who joined us. I was fortunate to be at the Texas State Wrestling meet last weekend, and it was fantastic to be there to personally congratulate our 2 SISD state champions. I want to congratulate Gavin Ramos from Montwood High School and Erica Cobos from America's High School, both juniors that are amazing student athletes and certainly have made us all proud. Great job as well to all 11 of our SISD wrestlers who competed and represented Team SISD at the state meet. All of them are talented student athletes. Another notable student athlete is a swimmer at Socorro High School. Samira Avila is the school's first district champ in the last 20 years. She earned the title in the 200-meter freestyle race. Way to go, Samira. Congratulations also to all 6 of our high school mariachi ensembles that earned the highest rating at the regional competition and are all state-bound. They will compete at the UIL State Mariachi Festival this weekend, February 24th and 25th in Seguin, Texas. Great job to Americas, Eastlake, El Dorado, Montwood, Pebble Hills, and Socorro Mariachis. In case you didn't notice it coming in this evening, the SISD Academic Technology Showcase is taking place right now here in the DSC and next door in the Technology Services Center. It started earlier this evening, and we thank all the students and teachers who are participating and the parents and community who are supporting this annual event that highlights the fantastic work we're achieving with technology and digital learning. Also, thank you to the instructional technology team for leading this exciting event for Team SISD. Upcoming events. We have one. SISD Spring Intercession is coming up very soon. Intercession for the spring is March 6th through the 17th. I want to wish all of you a very safe, restful, and enjoyable break. This concludes my comments, Mr. Mena.
Thank you, Dr. Carmen. At this time, we'll go to item number 4, special presentations. Mr. Daniel Escobar.
Good evening, President Mena, members of the board, and Superintendent Dr. Carmen. My name is Daniel Escobar, Chief Communications Officer for the district, and it is my pleasure to introduce tonight's special presentation, for which I will turn it over to Susan Rabel, who will be presenting on behalf of Solution Tree, recognizing Specialist Rafael Hernando III Middle School for being a National Model PLC school.
Good evening, Dr. Carmen, President Mena, and trustees. I'm honored to be here this evening to help recognize the commitment of your school leaders and faculty to ensure the academic success of every child. Our Solution Tree team has had the privilege of working alongside Socorro ISD, and it has been inspiring to see the educators at every level of the district fully embrace that all means all when engaging students in meaningful learning. Tonight, we're recognizing Hernando Middle School for achieving Model PLC status. You may have heard about professional learning communities, or PLCs, around SISD, but I wanted to take a moment to reiterate that the power and effectiveness of the PLC at Work framework lies in the dedication and professionalism of your campus leadership and teachers. Meaningful collaboration, relevant and accurate assessment, targeted and effective intervention, and challenging rigor and enrichment. There are many different aspects to the PLC at Work process, but make no mistake, this recognition is all about results, student growth. The amazing team at Hernando have spent the last 4 years focusing and refining their instructional strategies to create opportunities for every student to succeed. They know that the work is not over, and they continue to dedicate themselves to the students and families of their community. This recognition is definitely not achieved without the support of innovative and exceptional leaders. Dr. Carmen and the SISD district leaders continue to invest in quality instruction and the undeniable value of building strong teachers in every classroom. And the Board of Trustees has made it a priority to provide the resources necessary to do the work of ensuring that every student can succeed. Many give lip service to supporting public schools and our kids, but you all have walked the walk, and at Hernando, you have the results to show for it. Principal Hairston and her team have transformed their school by building a strong foundation for their collaborative teams and also creating the time and space necessary for planning and individualized student support. When COVID shifted the entire foundation of how students learn, Hernando leaned into their work as a professional learning community. The result has been academic growth, closing achievement gaps, and earning an A rating from TEA. Only 300 or so schools have earned Model PLC status, and only 2 other middle schools in the state have similar demographics to Hernando. Not only is Hernando the very first school in El Paso, but they're the very first school in Region 19 that have earned this designation. Congratulations, Hernando Middle School. Ms. Hairston and her leadership team, and we've got a certificate to present and a Model PLC flag that they can fly proudly at their school.
If we can please have the board please join them for a photo. Congratulations again. That concludes our recognitions. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item 5A, consider approval of National School Breakfast Week, March 20 to 24th of 2023. Ms. Shelley Shanoski.
Good evening, Dr. Mena, Dr. Carmen, President Mena, members of the board. Thank you so much for this opportunity. National School Breakfast Week celebrates the importance of nutritious school breakfast in fueling students for success. This special observance during March celebrates the National School Breakfast Program and the many ways it gives kids a great start every day. With the lead of Dr. Carmen, board members, Socorro ISD, and the Child Nutrition Program, together, we have made a continued commitment to every student that there will always be breakfast available at no charge. With even healthier options for school breakfast every day, to include meal service in our breakfast in the classroom for our pre-K through 8 schools and universal free breakfast at our high schools. Studies show that students who eat school breakfast are more likely to reach higher levels of achievement in reading and math, score higher on standardized tests, have better concentration and memory, be more alert, and maintain a healthy weight. To date, Socorro has served 2,745,979 student breakfast meals this school year. Great things are happening in child nutrition, and I'm so proud, and I have some of my team in the back with red shirts on. Woo, woo. Okay. With that, I'd like to introduce Noah Almedas. He is a 6th grade scholar from Montwood Middle School, and he will be reading the School Breakfast Week proclamation. Noah?
Good evening. Whereas the school breakfast program has served our nation admirably since it was permanently established in 1975, and whereas the school breakfast program is dedicated to the health and well-being of our nation's children, and whereas the school breakfast program joins and has been joined through the years by many other excellent child nutrition programs, and whereas there is evidence of continued need for nutrition education and awareness of the value of school nutrition programs. Now therefore proclaim the week of March 20th through the 24th, 2023 as National School Breakfast Week, and I encourage all residents to become aware of the benefits of the National School Breakfast Program and support good nutrition habits for their children in hope of achieving a more healthful citizenry for today and the future. Thank you.
Administration requests approval.
Motion to approve.
So I have a first from Ms. Nájera and a second by Mr. Morales. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, moving right along now, we will move on to open forum. Statement, okay. The board encourages from members of the public, however, the primary purpose of this meeting is to conduct district business. Therefore, to ensure the efficient conduct of this meeting, all speakers must comply with the following rules. Address the board at all times. Only persons who have timely signed up to speak will be called to speak. Comments should pertain to the district issues or business in accordance with board policy. Respect the rights of others, display civility and decorum, and refrain from using harmful and offensive content, such as defamatory, obscene, or fighting words or gestures. Complaints will be referred to a grievance policy. Do not engage in conduct that disrupts or delays this meeting. Each speaker is legally responsible for the comments and consequences of his or her own statements. In order to have enough time to complete all items on this agenda, each speaker will be given 3 minutes. And if the person speaks in multiple agenda items, not more than a total of 5 minutes. All speakers, including those who signed up to speak on agenda items, will be called to speak during open forum. The presiding officer will take all necessary measures to ensure that in order, the quorum is preserved during the meeting. We expect all persons to promptly comply with the presiding officer's directives. By law, the board cannot discuss or act on any item which is not posted on the agenda. Thank you, and thank you for your cooperation. Let's proceed to open forum. First one on the open forum agenda is Ms. Veronica Hernandez.
Good evening, President Mena, members of the board, and Dr. Carmen. My name is Veronica Hernandez, and I serve as president of the 2,000-member Socorro American Federation of Teachers. I come before you to express Socorro AFT's extreme disappointment with Dr. Carmen and the board's decision not to put on the agenda for tonight a resolution in support of increasing the basic allotment for school districts and making our students' and employees' needs a priority. As I stated in my email to the superintendent and the board, the Texas legislature is expeditiously ongoing now, and we need to be in solidarity of a firm determination of the needs for public education, especially when the Texas Comptroller of Public Accounts announced the state has $188.2 billion in general revenue and $32.7 billion surplus. And with the House Appropriations Committee and the Senate Finance Committee already discussing the basic allotment, it is not a time for wait and see. Socorro AFT sees no valid reason for waiting on a more comprehensive resolution from TASB or waiting to see what other districts are going to do. Funding public education should be our main priority. We are seeking the same resolution from districts all over our state. Socorro ISD and Socorro AFT have a history of working collectively during legislation time to push through resolutions that would benefit our district, and this year should not be an exception. We pride ourselves on being the educational leaders in El Paso County. Now is not the time to wait on anyone else. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Manuel Ruiz.
Hello. Good evening, President Morales, members of the board, and Superintendent Dr. Carmen. I thank you for allowing me to speak today. As you might remember last time, I like telling you stories, but that's me. I was employed by the Texas Department of MHMR. I started in Big Spring, Texas. I was born and raised there. Then transferred to El Paso soon after marrying my wife. I remember that working for the state of Texas was a goal for many in my small hometown because of its benefits. Working at the Big Spring State Hospital meant that you were going to be able to buy a new car. So we just waited to see what they were going to get whenever they started working there. Those of us working for the Texas Department of MHMR knew we had achieved something great. We were insured by Blue Cross Blue Shield, the highest rated medical health insurance at that time. We got a raise according to the raise ladder. I don't remember the increments of that pay ladder, but I remember feeling good that it was a raise that was seen and was felt. Our monthly sick time and vacation time accrual became greater as our years of service increased. We felt valued. We were taken care of. I became a supervisor soon after moving to El Paso, and the benefits continued. Once you got in, you hung on tightly and you didn't let go because everything just got better and better. I could count on that. I became a teacher knowing that my life, my family's lives would soon be changing, and they did. Once I started working, I got my first car. I got not my first car, but I bought a Jeep, and that was my dream car, to drive a Jeep. I thought that was the coolest. Then later was told that I was driving a girl Jeep. A girl Jeep, under the hood, they all looked the same to me. I never figured that one out, so I just hung a Spider-Man in it and made it a boy Jeep. My daughters heard no less often than when they made their request, and our trips to IHOP became more frequent. 18 years later, my two oldest daughters are married and left us, and our baby will be graduating from college this May in San Antonio. However, as I mentioned the last time I was here, I find myself unable to catch up. With college tuition and trying to maintain my home and my health needs, I keep climbing, but the summit is nowhere in view. My hope is not broken, though, because I'm aware of what is possible. Teachers are leaving, causing a shortage that is ultimately hurting our students. I speak not only for me, but also for all my colleagues who have their own struggles.
Thank you, Mr. Reese.
We're done?
We are done.
Oh.
Sorry. How much more you got left?
That much.
That's too much.
I'll say it fast. Yes?
Okay, I'll make an exception this time.
Okay. We don't feel valued. We don't feel taken care of. That's not your fault. You didn't hand these uncertainties to us, but you can help. We ask that you speak for us, that you fight for us, that you make it happen. We ask that you please support a resolution to the Texas legislature asking for funds to support employee raises. Currently, Texas is experiencing a 30-something billion budget surplus. The funds are there. Please do all in your power to create change. A $10,000 raise for all certified employees and a 15% raise for classified employees would help with the inflation highs and help us with the crazy out-of-pocket increases with Aetna. When I told my doctor about our insurance change, he said, "Oh, your school district took a step backwards. The only thing to do now is to take 2 steps forward. But we can't do that without you. Thank you for everything you've done already."
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Reese. Okay, our next speaker is Mr. Tommy Hill. Please be vigilant of your 3 minutes.
Yeah, no problem. I
Thank you.
actually put 2 things up there, so either way. Okay, so we started out this year, and we were talking about people getting their years of experience when we all moved up the pay grade with the minimum wage at $15 an hour. So that's supposed to come on the 28th to get that. Still, HR really has not been giving out too much information on that. They put sometime in February, but now we know it's on the 28th. Still, how would you like to be those people 16 to 30 years? We're still telling them. We're still telling them that they're only worth 15 years. We should not be telling them that. I was hoping it would be on this agenda, but I'm happy. I think it will be on next agenda. It needs to happen. Okay, the 16 to 30 years, if you do the simple math, is in between like 20% more than what the number is. That's only about $600,000. On a district where their budget is a $500 million budget, we got to do this. We need to do this. It's basic, simple math. We should not even have to round. It's easy round up numbers. It's around $600,000. And you're not going to tell those people, well, I hope you're not, from 16 to 30 years that they're only worth 15 years. That's just not right. Okay. We still need to work on those sped clerks. The numbers from the 304 to the 305, it's only $15,000. It should have been done earlier, but you still have time. And it's only $15,000. So I'm making a point. I always go into the special meetings, and something that we've seen in there is good work from the board, but the last 3 months, investments, $1.5 million, better than it's ever been before. So tell me, with the numbers, with how we're growing, this is easy to do. And why it's not done, and why we're still telling our people that they're only worth 15 years of experience, that's just wrong. Thank you very much.
Okay, our next speaker is Ms. Gina Banfil Barcena. Barcena? There you go. Okay.
Good evening, President Mena, board members, and Dr. Carmen. I have been a teacher with the Socorro Independent School District since January 2007. I am writing to express my deep frustration, disappointment, and deep disappointment with the district's decision to change the district's healthcare insurance plan from Cigna to Aetna. This change has added stress both financially and emotionally to myself and my family. Cigna has been providing health insurance to me since I have been with the district. I have never had issues with my health plan before. I do have epilepsy, which is a neurological disorder that affects the brain. I need to take anti-epileptic drugs daily, take blood tests, and have various tests performed yearly. This coming spring break alone, I will have an MRI, blood work, and follow-up office visits with specialists. In the summer, I'll be having a 5-day hospital visits to do a long-term EEG. These are only a few items that I do to keep my seizures under control, to keep my life under control, so that I may stay in the classroom. My anti-epileptic drugs were $3 last year. That price has been raised to $180 per prescription. That is a 600% price increase. My EEG alone, this break, will be $1,600. That does not include all the other expenses that the hospitals will be adding on. That EEG is the cost of my house payment. This new health plan has hit our home in many ways. Having a chronic condition already comes with its own anxieties, and now a financial concern has been added to that list. And it seems that the reason that distress has been added to my life and the lives of many other district employees is because the district wanted to save itself $4 million. We are a district with a $500 million budget. The district saved 0.008%. The savings does not seem to justify raising the financial, emotional, and mental hardship that this has created its district employees. I hope that by the next annual year, we will begin it with a more beneficial healthcare option for its employees. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Ms. Rita Madrid.
Good evening, President Mena, board members, and Dr. Carmen. My name is Rita Madrid, and I'm a third grade teacher at Ituarte Elementary School. I'm here to address the members of the board with an email I sent a few weeks back regarding the new health insurance. Due to a unanimous vote by the SISD board and in an effort to cut costs, we have been moved to Aetna Healthcare. This is where my hardship began. My son, who suffers from a medical condition, is prescribed medication that should be administered daily. He will need this medication for approximately 4 years. During the time that the district had its contract with Cigna, my copayment was $100 a month for his medication. Since we have been moved to Aetna, and because of its limited coverage, the copayment for the same medication is $1,823 per month. This is a 1,723% increase, which amounts to $21,876 per year in copayments. I already pay approximately $8,400 for health benefits. Mr. Carmona, who was kind enough to call me when he got my email, asked me if there's an alternative for the medication. Yes, there is. The alternative costs me $2,100 per month. Fast forward a few weeks. It turns out there's a global shortage of the first medication. I'm looking to pay the $2,100 per month after all. I have enrolled in a copayment assistance program, but that maxes out at $5,000 a year. I will max that out after 2.5 months. For a teacher who makes approximately $50,000 per year, before taxes, 60% of my salary will now go towards medical benefits and copayments for my son's medication. In an effort to not run out of medicine so quickly, I have been forced to ration his medication to every other day. Can we really say this was the best insurance for your employees? I realize this may not affect you directly, but I can assure you this new insurance coverage is affecting many employees. I had hoped to bring my son Ethan with me so you could put a face to my situation. He couldn't be here because he's playing his last basketball game of the season. So I'm missing out on that to be here today. We are real people being severely affected by the choice of new insurance coverage. I invite you to visit schools in the district to talk to employees. The district praised itself when the board voted to give teacher raises. Teachers were commended on the fine job we did educating students during the pandemic. We still continue to do a great job. We love what we do. However, I must let you know that I have never felt so unappreciated and undervalued by my employer. The district decided it wanted to meet a goal and cut costs. Your goal was achieved to the detriment of SISD employees. I ask that when the district contract is up with Aetna, that you please reconsider taking us back to a carrier that will provide better health benefits. Employees that are happy with their employers and health benefits are more likely to stay for the long run. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Mr. Ethan Chavez.
Hello, board members and Nathan Carmen. Hello, my name is Ethan Chavez, son of Gabriel Chavez. My father, the one you gave the criminal trespass to, my father has done nothing wrong but to stand up for what my mother has been doing to me and my sister. Why is no one in Socorro listening and doing the right thing? My father is not the problem, it's my mother, Denise Melton, a teacher at Hambrick. Like when my mom kidnapped me and my sister during school hours and did not tell anyone, especially at the campus. Like when she physically assaulted my father in front of me during my awards last school year. Like when my mother continues to harass me, making me feel uncomfortable at my school since she works there at Hambrick. Like how she physically forces me to go with her or making other teachers trap me, or how she brings in family members into the school to grab me and hurt me while she records it. My mom will not stop this unless you do something about this. Stop taking it out of my dad when he's the one that's helping and making me feel safe. Thank you.
Carmen, can we look into this?
Mr. Barrera, I believe it has been looked into. Yes, sir.
Our next and final speaker is Mr. Samuel Garrejo.
As you all know, February is Black History Month. Martin Luther King said, "I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of this creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal." Now it says men here, but as we all know, what Martin Luther King did was more than just for men, more than just for the black community. It did a whole lot for equality. But taking that into consideration, are we really equal right now? We have the bus drivers here who are still fighting for their raises. And you say, what does that have to do with Black History Month? Well, it has to do with discrimination. Unfortunately, what's going on here is age discrimination. And unfortunately, SISD has a bad track record with that. And it only continues, unfortunately, with our new superintendent. He comes with a lot of baggage, with a lot of lawsuits dealing with age discrimination. And it's unfortunate because he's probably the same age as they are, but yet he's not treating himself that way. So Tommy and all you bus drivers, that's what's really going on right here. It has nothing to do with TASB or anything like that. It also has to do with what this woman said here. Mr. Carmen, Dr. Carmen came in here to cut costs. He's cutting the silver out. Why? Because they're the oldest, you have to pay them the most. You cut costs by cutting insurance benefits. We're sick and tired of that. We're sick and tired of you discriminating against people. I came here to talk about accountability.
Mr. Carrejo.
Yes, sir.
Let me stop you there. Criticism of an individual or by a specific position is against board policy. Bob, can you specify in that?
Yes, sir.
The speaker's time has been paused. Just to remind the speaker and the board that individuals must refrain from using harmful and offensive content, and if they have complaints, that they must be, according to your policy, referred to a grievance process. So I would advise that the speaker either continue and speak in general terms as far as what this district or the board can do better, or he can pursue his complaint through a grievance.
So, Mr. Carrejo, you may continue.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Just
And
and then don't mention any names.
yes, sir. And I appreciate that. And that's one of the things that I come here to do is to learn and to teach. And he just taught me something. So we'll definitely go ahead and do the grievance process because it's not just for me. I haven't even talked about what I want to talk about. I'm talking about other people. And unfortunately, we didn't even know that could be done. And we'll make sure we get that taken care of. Another issue I want to talk about, accountability. Administrators. The board decided to do a MOU with a mental health provider, Solace Care. Unfortunately, there's a situation at El Dorado High School with a young lady with issues with mental health. Instead of getting referred to that, she was suspended and sent home. And this is one of the things that can't happen anymore. You know, it's all over the website. It says Solace Care, SISD loves mental health concerns, but yet this 15-year-old who has been through very traumatic situations in her life, who gets bullied at school, who decided to cut herself, instead of being referred to Solace Care, she was pulled over by SISD police and sent home. These are the things that we have to take care of. I apologize for my outburst, but as you guys know, my passion is for our children, and we have to stop being here fighting, being bullies. We have to make sure we take care of our kids. Thank you so much. I yield my time.
Okay, that was open forum. Thank you to all the speakers. At this time, item number 7, public hearing, 2021-2022 annual report. Speaker is Kelly McBain, and I believe you gave us a little pamphlet.
Yes, sir. There is a booklet that accompanies this report that will be posted on the public website tomorrow. Good evening, Board President Mena, Dr. Carmen, members of the board. This is the presentation for the public hearing of the 2021-2022 annual report as required by Chapter 39 of the Texas Education Code. The full report is located under the separate cover and includes the following required sections. It starts with the Texas Academic Performance Report, also known as TAPER. Then a new required section this year, which is nice that they included this because it highlights a list of campuses that received distinction designations for outstanding performance from TEA. And there were 32 campuses that received one or more of these designations. Then the actual financial data is listed in there, and the student performance in post-secondary institutions. which is the 2020 Socorro ISD grads and their performance during their first year in post-secondary institutions if they stayed in Texas. The violent or criminal incident summary and school violence prevention programs make up the last part of this report. The presentation today will focus on the Texas Academic Performance Report, which is the main component of the annual performance report. The taper includes information on state, regional, and district data to include the disaggregation of student populations, on STAR assessment results, graduation data, college and career-ready graduates, student profile, teacher profile, and I'll highlight data from each of these sections, starting with the STAR data. So this is a 2-year comparison with Socorro ISD, Region 19, and the state. The orange bars represent 2021 data, the blue is 2022 data. So in Socorro ISD, we experienced a 12% point increase in passing rates from 65% to 77%, 3 points higher than both the region and the state. The next slide shows STAR passing rates by subject. So this is a 2-year comparison of Socorro ISD data. So the first set of data is reading, then math, then science, then social studies. 2021 data is in gold, and the blue data is 2022. So we saw significant increases in 3 of the 4 subject areas. And if you look at the second set of bars, this is the math data where we saw the largest increase. Math was the subject that took the biggest hit during the pandemic across the state. So seeing that 18-point gain in our data is very encouraging, and we continue to see that this year on our benchmarks. Graduation data is reported a year behind, as is the college readiness data that's going to be on the next slide. So this is 2021 graduates, which were our pandemic seniors. These graduates spent their senior year on remote instruction. So Socorro teachers did a great job of keeping these students motivated to finish high school. The 4-year graduation rate is at 91.3%, significantly higher than the region, who experienced similar pandemic response as we did, and just above the state, which is at 90%. We had 0.5% of students receive their high school equivalency certificate, and 2.9% of these seniors that didn't graduate actually enrolled for a 5th year to pick up credits that they were lacking. So these students are considered continuers. So in total, we have a 94.8% success rate during a pandemic senior year in students finishing out their high school careers or enrolling to complete credits the following year. The college and career-ready graduates is at 63% with gains in key indicators. So students receiving 9 hours in any dual credit courses or 3 hours specifically in math or reading dual credit courses is up 1 percentage point to 34.4% of graduates. That's almost a third, or that's more than a third of our graduates. And students receiving an associate's degree is up 2.1%. That's 273 students attaining an associate's degree alongside their high school diploma, often receiving their associates before their high school diploma. And industry-based certifications are up 11.7% to 18% of graduates leaving high school career ready. Our next section is the Socorro ISD student profile section that outlines the demographics of our district. Our official count last year, taken at the PEAM snapshot date, was 47,137 students. That was up 200 students from the year prior. This year we're at over 48,000, so we're up about 900 students this year. Our ethnic and racial breakdown is listed here. The makeup of our district is largely Hispanic at 92.2%. And then towards the bottom of that slide, you have the economically disadvantaged percentage at 70.2, military connected at 12.6, emergent bilingual at 27.4, and our special ed population at 11.8%. Lastly is our teacher profile. 1.7% have no degree, which is typically our career and tech teachers whose experience and industry-based certifications in the areas in which they teach qualify them for their position. Over 98% of our teachers have a bachelor's degree, but the 65.2% that's listed there represents those whose highest degree is a bachelor's degree. Almost a third of our teachers hold a master's degree, which is significantly higher than the state average at 25.2%. 5.6% of our teachers are beginning teachers. Majority of our teachers have between 11 and 20 years of experience. And our teacher turnover rate, while it increased a point from last year, it's much lower than the state rate at 17.7, and the state rate increased from 14.3% the year before to 17.7. So the state had a large increase. So this report, that's a snapshot of the annual report. It's going to be available on our district website tomorrow under the Accountability tab. And since this is a public hearing, Mr. Mena, we would like to solicit public input at this time.
At this time, would anybody like to speak? Public input? No, thank you so much. Is that it? Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
District reports. Item A8. James Dunn. District-wide intruder detection audit report findings.
Good evening, Dr. Carmen and members of the board. The top priority of the Socorro Independent School District and the state of Texas is keeping students and staff safe every day. The Texas School Safety Center recently conducted an intruder detection audit at one or more of our campuses. The audits test whether a campus is accessible to an unauthorized individual. This audit, conducted as part of Governor Abbott's school safety directives for all school systems following the tragedy in Uvalde, seeks to help districts identify how campuses can improve safety for students, such as ensuring exterior doors are locked. The audit provides us with an opportunity to create a safe learning environment for our students and staff. We are working closely with our district safety and security committee to ensure that we are training all staff and securing our doors for the protection of everyone at our campuses. The support from the state in conducting the intruder detection audits is just one of the many actions we are taking to ensure our schools are safe. We know that this work does not end, and we appreciate the board's support. We acknowledge that parents and the community members are very likely interested in the details of the audit results. However, it is in the best interest of the students that we do not share this information to the broader public, as it could lead to compromising important campus security information. Specific details in the intruder detection audit will be discussed in the executive session and with the Safety and Security Committee. The Socorro Independent School District is committed to providing a safe and secure learning environment for our students and staff. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nunn. Okay, item number 9, consent agenda. Is there anything that needs to be pulled?
9I.
9I.
9E5.
9E5?
Yes.
Where's that at?
Motion to approve consent agenda excluding item 9E5 and 9I.
Second.
So I have a motion by Mr. Nájera and a second by Mr. Morales. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to item 9I.
9E5.
Well, Mr. Morales says 9I, right?
Yes.
Let's do that one first because that was the first one.
I'm not asking for information. I want to let the board know that I had the opportunity to attend the SHAC meeting during this week, and I was very happy that the turnout was great, excellent. I mean, there's a lot of words I could use, but what I did notice, and what after talking to the individuals that are in that group and stuff like that, is that this is a board-appointed committee. I do want to make sure that we start allocating a little bit more funds to that committee, because when you list, I did request from Mr. Herrera to give the board everything the kids had to say, because the kids are an asset and a value to us, so we need to take their input into consideration. So when you hear what the kids have to say, I think you guys will understand the importance of why we need to look at increasing the budget for that shack committee, because it brings that involvement, and it's only going to create a better dialogue between us and the students. So that's all I wanted to say, just make that known, and hopefully the board will consider increasing more funds for the shack. And if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Herrera, you oversee the shack committee, right? So that's something we can look into.
And the next item.
Motion to approve 9-9.
Okay.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Barrera and a second by Mr. Nakira. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item 9E5. Mr. Castellano?
Yes, I was looking over the purchasing cooperatives here. Synthetic artificial turf upgrade. Somebody explain that one?
Good evening, President Mena, Dr. Carmen, members of the board. So the turf upgrades, if I can just look at my notes, there are 3 turfs that we're going to be working on. That's for Eastlake High School, Pebble Hills, and the SAC. And so these are upgrades to what they currently have. Each of those fields are currently 8+ years. And so every year we have made sure that we allocate budgeted funds for upgrading and rotating which schools are going to be getting those upgrades. So this year we have those 3 schools, sir.
We didn't put this up for an RFQ?
No, sir. This one was done through a purchasing co-op. That's 1GPA. So 1GPA has already done their due diligence to go out for bids and get the best prices for us. We did release a request for quotes to make sure that we were going to make sure that we are getting the best price, and no one quoted on it. So
you didn't put it out for quote, because I remember the last time when we remodeled the other 4 fields, there was another company. I guess they were expressing disappointment in not getting the contract for those fields. I want to make sure we're not eliminating them from this process.
So the vendors that we are allowed to pick from are anybody that we are in a purchasing co-op with, that we subscribe to. And so those are the vendors. So if there's a vendor that would like to, they can subscribe to 1GPA, buy board. Those are the ones that we have the ability to do business with, because those have already been vetted and gone through the legal process. So we didn't do the bids because we went straight to a co-op, but we did check to see that the prices were reasonable.
So my question is, if last time we did send an RFQ for those 4 fields, but this time we didn't, how come we didn't use a co-op last time, but this time we are? So why not say consistent?
I'll let the purchasing director discuss the legalities on that one.
Board President, board members, I'm Gabby Garcia, Purchasing Director. So yes, last time CSP was issued to purchase the artificial turf upgrades, and this time we issued a request for quote, and we did contact multiple vendors. We received 1 quote, which is Hellas Construction.
And this was the quote this is the price they quoted?
Yes, sir.
Oh, so you did put it out for a quote?
Yes, we did issue a request for quote, and we received 1 quote, which is Hellas Construction.
How long does it usually stay open for?
The quotes? So since they are quotes from co-op vendors, we don't have to publish for like the 3 weeks when we do a bid. This one, I believe, was five days.
How many people on the co-op can do this work?
There was, I believe, 3. Yes, sir.
Good. Okay, I need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second. I need a second.
There's still 4 other items on this thing.
Sorry?
Still a couple other items on this.
Oh, wait a minute.
So it's 5A.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Castellano.
Yeah,
That's why I asked if you had anything else.
Well, not for that 5A, but.
Okay, continue.
Yes.
I thought you were done. Okay.
Yeah, the question is mostly on the co-op, that making sure that we're being fair to other companies out there, that they have the opportunity to come forward and bid. This one was a $3 million contract, and we wanted to make sure it was available for other people out there to have that opportunity and not us focus on who we want or who we prefer and just say, well, let's keep other people out of the process.
Right. Yes, sir. And so that's why we issued the quote and we did extend the invite to additional vendors.
The next item on that protective resilient glass film.
Yes, sir.
Yes, can you explain that? Because this is a $2 million project here.
So we requested an RFP for protective resistant glass film. We were specifically requesting that it be bullet resistant. We received 2 quotes, and only one of them was able to, with 100% certainty, verify that it was bullet resistant.
And this is going to go where?
Mr. Nunn, are you?
Mr. Castellano. Bob, can I ask your opinion real quick? Can we discuss this matter in executive session due to the safety content on this item?
Yes, you can discuss security devices in closed session as far as not necessarily the price of them or how you're going to procure them, but how they're going to be placed or used in the district.
Exactly.
Yes, you can discuss that in closed session.
So, Mr. Castellano, if you would let us maybe talk about this during the executive session because of the sensitivity of some of this stuff?
Yes, and there's more questions on it. It's the overall comprehensive security plan that should have been in place, because this is a $2 million project, and I think the whole board should know what is the overall project that you're looking at to secure the schools, so we can say we are looking at a final goal of maybe $10 million to secure the schools. And that's what we're having. It sounds like it's being piecemealed, but we would like to see the whole project and not just, hey, this sounds good, let's get it. You know, we want to make sure we do it right. So if we want to discuss this in executive or in
And we can
private,
bring bring him in there and they can explain to us what's going down.
Yeah, I understand it has
Yeah.
to be back.
Right.
But do we do it now or?
So we can, Bob, how we do this? Can we do it this item at the end or?
Yes, you can table this item specifically until after a closed session, so we can discuss it in closed session. But we can discuss all the closed session items at one time. And the matter's already on the agenda, so it is appropriate for us to go into closed session to discuss it.
So I need somebody to table.
So I still got one question. Are we piecemealing this?
This specific purchase is singled out because this is one grant that we've been awarded. We've been pre-awarded, so we are awarded a very specific amount of 1.9 on that safety allotment that TEA has given additional funds to the schools. And so we were making sure that we had all of our procurement processes done before we receive it. As soon as we get that money, we can just go ahead and spend that money. As far as it being part of the emergency operating procedures, that's definitely something that would have to be part of that discussion. So this one is specific because it's a grant.
Okay.
Okay, so I will
And it's
table.
specifically from TEA, you said?
Correct.
Okay.
Specifically for this type of resistant film? Or is it for a security grant?
It is a security grant, and they give us the autonomy to spend it how we feel necessary, based on what we have in place.
Okay, we can discuss the rest of it.
Okay.
On that one, yes.
Okay, so this item will be, I will table this item to be discussed in executive session and to come back and act on it at the end, in just the security item that we talked about right now, okay? What else, Mr. Castellano? What else do you have?
There was the electric school buses.
I'm going to invite Mr. Harmon to discuss that one. I think we have some information he would
Yes.
love to share.
Good evening, President Mena, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Dr. Carmen. Any questions as far as anything I can assist? Did you want me to?
Well, this is mostly for the district, because we just invested a whole lot in, diesel-powered buses, or were they gasoline-powered? A couple of years ago.
So we
Just explain to us what you've accomplished as far as the state and federal funding that you've acquired. That's what he wants to talk about.
Okay.
He wants to understand the
I
background.
want to understand the direction the district is going to on the buses. Are we going to focus on continuing down with the gasoline, diesel-powered buses, or are we gonna start going electric? Because it's gonna take a whole infrastructure now to support that and additional costs for the district. And have the district decided which way it's gonna go? Just start going electric, which eventually we will, but,
Okay, so back in 2022, there was a conference that was held, and there was the bipartisan infrastructure bill that was being pushed, and they were going to make available $5 billion over the course of 5 years. Districts went out for the grant. Socorro was one of the districts that was able to obtain the maximum allotted allowance for 25 buses. So we were granted an award of $9.3 million. Aside from the buses, we were also granted infrastructure dollars to cover the cost. Last month, we went out for proposals for some of the buses, and based on the costs that were proposed from the vendors and what we're getting from the grant, we would let me go show this here. We're looking at $375,000 per bus that was granted to the district. There was an infrastructure award of $500,000 that was also awarded. So basically what we're looking at right now, with the average cost of the buses at $375,000, and with the infrastructure cost as well, if we were to look at what we're doing currently, last year the school district purchased 45 gasoline buses. What we're looking at right now, if we were to purchase 25 gasoline buses, we're looking at $3.7 million to purchase those buses. With the grant that was awarded to Socorro ISD, if we purchased the 25 electric buses out of pocket, out of the district, for the district, we're looking at a cost of $201,000 if we were to pursue purchase of those 25 buses right now. There's an infrastructure cost of $500,000 that we're matching. We're trying to match the grants the award that was granted to us. So total right now for electric bus and infrastructure, we're looking at $701,000, which is definitely, now if we were just to look at the savings alone with the 25 buses, even at a bare minimum of $10,000 per year on fuel, we're looking at $250,000 in savings in fuel a year. That alone would pay for the buses in the first year. That's a good point to consider. The future holds, there's $5 billion that were allotted, that were earmarked by the government. There will be more grants available. Like I said, Socorro was one of the few districts in the state of Texas, one of 13, were one of the 2 districts that was awarded the maximum allotted allowance for that. Any other questions?
yes, you would have already figured out maintenance cost on these electric buses, you know that?
Correct.
And who maintains them? Are they gonna be here, maintained by here, or we have to send them out? What's the downtime? You know, all that other stuff that goes.
So currently, the vendor that's providing submitted the quote does have trainings available. They will have training on site for our technicians here for Socorro. We have 2 other sites in the city that services the battery-powered units. So yes, there are a lot of new things coming with the electrification process. There have been there's been many improvements over the course of the last 6 years. It is not that new as far as it's new to us, but not that new. California, has many fleets already currently working on electric school buses. We have one district in Texas, Airman ISD, who's been running on 3 buses. I spoke to their director as well, and same thing. Little glitches that they had resolved in the beginning, but other than that, the buses have been working great for them.
The buses, they're gonna be the full-size buses, or are they gonna be small?
Yes, if the board decides to proceed with the purchase, we are looking at requesting 10 of the regular to serve the regular program, and then 15 buses to serve the special education program.
I think it would have been nice to give a presentation on the buses. Yes, we're going electric everywhere, but so we can get an overall understanding of the cost, the maintenance, infrastructure that has to be in place for them, yes, you got grant money, okay, yeah, we'll buy them, but what's it gonna cost the district in the long run? Is it cheaper to maintain electric bus, or is it cheaper to maintain a diesel bus?
So,
That's what, I think that's where the cost we would like to know, but we're already on the board here trying to buy them now.
Okay, so based on the projections that we had here, we had a breakdown of the cost per mile. If you look at what we were looking at on yearly savings on 25 buses, we were looking as far as diesel fuel, gasoline fuel, and the maintenance costs on those buses, we were looking at projected savings of $208,000 per year on putting those 25 buses into operation. That, of course, based on projection per year for 25 buses, $208,000. Over the course of 10 years, the district could be looking at an overall savings of over $5 million to go ahead, moving forward with electric, with these 25 buses right now. Honestly, it's a win-win situation for the school district in the sense that the grant is going to fund over 90%, over 90% of the cost of the district. And then not only that, but the savings alone, it's going to pay for itself within 2-3 years.
I would just like to commit, a couple of years back, we buy the gasoline diesels, but if we were going to start going electric, let's just commit and do what's going to come to the future and not go back and forth. It's going to cost us more to maintain the older buses while going to a new system. I don't know if they're going to work here. There's environmental things, but we'll see how that goes. I just had questions about the buses, and seeing this here I was curious which way the district was headed, and I need that.
I got a question, several questions.
Yes.
Right here, you're not indicating how much our electric bill is going to go up. So are we going to tap into the grid, or we're going to be solar paneled, and that's the way we're going to operate and charge the buses?
No, the infrastructure specifically says we will have to tap into the grid. That's part of the infrastructure, part of the cost that's not granted. We are looking at other grants. Hopefully we can get that. So that's why we have a cost out of pocket for the district. The estimated cost, if we just look at diesel fuel or gasoline engines, we're looking at about $3.30 a gallon on fuel. So yes, our electric bill will go up, but we're going to offset the cost.
Which brings me to my next question. Right here, you said it's going to be fuel cost 26 cents. Are you including the amount it's going to cost for electricity? So that number, the 26 cents, is that right, or you're not including? It doesn't sound like you're including how much it's going to charge to get 1 mile. To charge 1 mile for the bus.
That's pretty much what it comes down to. It's a kilowatt. It's 26 cents to charge. It would be about 26 cents per mile versus if we were to, almost 80 cents per mile on gasoline. What happens is we would charge the buses overnight, where we would be maximizing we wouldn't be charging during peak running times. El Paso Electric has different tiers throughout the day. So our buses will be charging only at night, where we could take advantage of the lowest possible charge, the lowest rate.
What time does that peak time end?
It ends at 6 a.m.
Okay,
12 a.m. to 6 a.m.
So who's going to start charging the buses at 12 a.m. when the bus drivers are gone?
The bus drivers will come in, they'll plug in their buses. The charging stations that we're proposing are what they call smart stations, and at a certain time is when they start charging.
Okay, now these buses, is it just gonna have one electric motor, 2 electric motors? Because then you gotta consider also the weight ratio of how much electricity it's gonna consume versus like the sped buses are probably not gonna carry a lot of kids compared to these full-size buses are gonna carry, they can carry up to 30 some odd kids. So we gotta weigh that out.
So the options that we were presented by the vendors, we are looking at possibly getting a range of 150 miles on the battery that they're proposing. We know we're not going to get 150 miles on the route, on the bus, but with air conditioner, or heater, with loads, with traffic, with running time out on the road, we are looking at approximately 110 to 125 miles. That's with full load on the bus. So we understand that there is a depletion in the charge. But again, what we're looking for is to give us that charging option, and we'll be able to get those buses charged up through the night. We'll be able to get that maximum range of 150 miles. The buses will provide us most of our routes, average between 85 to 95 miles per day. So we would definitely be within that parameter.
So the charging station, if it needs to be serviced, do we have certified electricians to maintain them and service them, or does somebody from the outside have to come in? They're gonna have to service them.
It's a very basic infrastructure. I mean, I couldn't tell you exactly what it is. It's just a port, just like you plug into the wall, pretty much.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about, let's say the charging handle gets busted because they drive or whatever accidents just happen.
Yes.
So who's gonna go fix that immediately? Are we gonna have the electricians that are certified to operate and fix it so that that bus is up and running as soon as possible? Because now we're gonna have a bus down.
Part of the training that we're looking at, just like we have our fueling facility, where if we pull a nozzle or anything like that and it's down for a day, we'll have the option of being able to plug in the bus into another charger. At that time, our district electricians can come in and replace that if needed. There is training from the charging stations vendor. They give you all that type of training, what needs to be done. I mean, obviously, there is something that we can do from the charging station out. Anything beyond that, I'm sure we would have to seek, just like any other item that we have, where we would have to have a vendor or propose, but do the repairs.
Warranties on the batteries, how long?
We're getting an 8-year battery warranty, covering 120,000 miles. So the battery is probably the most expensive component of the bus. So again, because of the warranty alone, I mean, they're really backing up the product and they're really providing that warranty for you.
Okay, just needed the information. I have no other questions. I'm good.
Anna?
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Nagara.
Carmen, I just wanted to say thank you. This is about the third time that I hear this information. I know that you went to administrative services on 2 separate occasions to present a very, very thorough presentation, everything associated with these electric buses. I appreciate that you went out above and beyond and did the research with all the other districts who are currently using the buses, because that was some of the questions that we had. I just want to confirm, we're not making a determination here that we're going to go strictly electric, right? What this offers right now is a very unique opportunity at a very, very small cost to this district for us to trial this process, because we have a grant, because of the work that you all went through to obtain that grant, and we're getting almost fully funded for that grant. So I completely understand that our reliance right now is still on diesel buses or gas buses, on fossil fuel buses. We're not saying we're going to make a switch, but this offers the unique opportunity because, I mean, if we look around, this is the way that public transportation is going. And it offers us the unique opportunity to be able to pursue that, to explore it, to understand it, to see if it's a viable option. And at some point down the road, we'll be able to make that determination, but it's not our funding that, well, we have some funding that is at risk, but most of this, a large proportion, very large proportion, is coming through that grant, right? So at the end of the day, if we do happen to determine that this is not the route that we want to go, the cost to us has only been, well, at least, you know, from the information that we have before us right now, approximately just a little over $700,000. And even though we're going to have to maintain them, even though we're going to have to provide electricity for wherever we provided the information, that the electrical charging is cheaper than fuel, maintaining the buses is cheaper. This gives us time to be able to, or the luxury, I guess, to be able to make that determination. Is that correct?
That is correct. So at this point, the grant does specify that we have to use the buses for a minimum of 5 years. After 5 years, should the district choose not to continue with the program, that's perfectly fine. No penalties, no harm done. We can, at that point, either dispose of the buses or continue to applying for grants should we choose to go with electric. But as Mr. Nájera well pointed out, this is a trial. We'll go ahead and try. And at the cost that we're looking at, I mean, it's really next to nothing for the school district. I understand there is some cost, but I know we're going to recover those costs in the savings.
Okay, I have a question for you. You said there was possibly other grants you were looking into, so that $701,000 can actually go even further. It can go down even more.
Yes, correct. So El Paso Electric is also going out for grants, in which case Socorro ISD has provided a letter of support, and that'll help hopefully offset our cost from, again, the grant covers from the meter into the property to the buses. The district is responsible for tapping to the utility company. But El Paso Electric is also in the process of grant applications, and those grants will be applied towards in our favor for the district.
Wonderful, wonderful.
So you had the opportunity to hear it 3 times, Mr. Nájera?
Today is the third time, yes, sir.
Awesome. Dr. Carmen, can you make sure that, I guess, in the other committee meetings, because none of the other committee meetings, policy,
No.
I didn't get an opportunity to hear
It was presented in finance.
And I didn't sit in finance, so I didn't get an opportunity to hear it.
We all get the agendas for all the committees.
Yeah, but I didn't get to ask questions. That's why I'm asking.
We're all free to
So it
attend
was in
any-
administrative services, in finance, and what other one? And today?
Those were the two committees
Yeah, right.
in which we had, yes, sir. Administrative and finance.
I sit on policy, CNI. Well, we didn't have those committees, so I didn't get an opportunity to hear it.
Okay, no.
Well, I
but you-
appreciate you presented it here to the public, so they're aware too, and not just us or whoever's sitting
No,
in the
that's good,
committee
thank you.
somewhere, so that's, thank you.
You did a great job, and we all heard it here, right? For the board's members that didn't hear it, heard it here.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Morales.
Just a quick comment. I believe we're doing what's right and helping our environment. And I think this is a process in which we're looking to in the future. So I feel very good about it. Thank you.
Yes, okay. Mr. Castellano, what else do you have?
I saw the other items, D and E, but I didn't see them when I called out for number 5, but I have no questions on those two. So
you're done?
Yeah, we can approve, I guess, everything except E5B?
Except the film.
Yes.
Okay. Give me a motion.
He made the motion.
You made the motion? Okay, I didn't
Yes,
hear you. Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Castellano and a second by Ms. Cynthia Nájera to approve 9E5 with an exemption of the tabled item. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, guys.
Amend a motion to table item 9.5B until after executive session.
Yes.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Nájera and a second by Mrs. Nájera for the tabled item. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. And where am I? New business. Consider approval of the auxiliary gymnasium improvement package 1. Mrs. Vicky Perez.
Yes, sir. So the package 1, CSP number 2349, we are requesting that we approve Medlock commercial contractors in the amount of $1,156,328. Any questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Morales and a second by Mr. Nájera. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. 10B, consider approval of the auxiliary gymnasium improvement package 3.
Thank you, sir. Like package 1, we do have a recommendation to Medlock commercial contractors in the amount of $1,388,617 for the auxiliary gym improvements.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Do I have a motion by Mr. Guerra, a second by Mr. Barrera?
No,
Who was it?
Castellano.
Mr. Castellano, I'm sorry. I have a motion by Mr. Castellano and a second by Mr. Barrera. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 10C, consider approval of the 2023-2024 proposed boundary adjustments. Dr. Cruz.
Good evening, Board President Mena, members of the board, Dr. Carmen. Administration is recommending consideration and approval for the proposed boundary adjustments for the 23-24 school year. I'll be going through those recommendations at this time. So every year when we consider future boundary adjustments, we are taking into account that all of our students and staff are being kept safe and secure. And being provided a learning environment that is healthy. We also want to be good stewards of all of our resources and maximize the use of our facilities. And then, of course, offer the best possible education, the best facilities that we can. The timeline that we have followed for these boundary adjustments is we have had ongoing conversations with every department in our district. We've had multiple ongoing conversations with cabinet, campus principals, faculty and staff, Those have been ongoing. We've also held campus and community meetings, both face-to-face and online with affected campuses. And then we've taken the information to our board committees and now to the board in our regular meeting today. So as mentioned, we have held face-to-face meetings and virtual meetings for community and staff. And this is a legend of the maps that you'll be seeing in just a moment. Gray areas means campus enrollment. Dots and white text means student residing. And then any pink areas are areas of future growth that we can anticipate growth in the next 3 years. Our current feeder boundaries will remain the same, but we are making recommended changes to America's feeder. So at this time, John Drugan Pre-K 8, we have 22 portables at John Drugan right now. So we have over 1,000 students at that campus. We understand that we have to provide relief for John Drugan. So with that taken in mind, we have to make minimal changes. A neighborhood that is very near and next door to the brand new Eastlake Middle. So 78 students are impacted in that neighborhood. We feel it is a win-win situation to take that neighborhood and allow them to go to Eastlake Middle. They will be going to a brand new campus, will not be instructed in portables, and that will offer some relief to John Drugan. And here are a few pics of Eastlake Middle. We're very excited about our 51st campus and excited that our students will be learning there this coming year. This is the neighborhood that will be impacted and streets that will be impacted. This information is also available on our website, and we're happy to answer any questions of parents who are wondering or have additional questions about whether they will be attending that brand new middle school. So we like to keep our students and our families together. So that same neighborhood, at the elementary level, those students are attending Loma Verde. They're currently bused to Loma Verde. So to keep those kids together, we'll take those elementary students from that neighborhood, about 159 students, and they will be attending their neighborhood school, Ben Narbeth. Again, a win-win situation for the community, the parents, the students. They'll be attending brand new Colonel Ben Narbeth Elementary School, our 50th school. Again, we've all had the opportunity, at least our board and many of our leaders have had the opportunity to visit those campuses. Beautiful facilities, top-notch. Technology is excellent, beautiful learning space for our students. Again, the same neighborhood is impacted and same streets impacted. So looking forward, we have, a situation that many districts do not find themselves in. We are experiencing a lot of growth in our district. Very exciting. We are happy to be an innovative district. We offer academies, dual language campuses, and we work very hard as a board and as a learning community to provide updated facilities for our students, and we continue to make efforts to do so. So with all this growth, I'm sure there are exciting future plans ahead for our district, and we're excited to be able to learn and grow with our community, and I appreciate your consideration. Our next steps, we've already held our community meetings. We will have forthcoming communication after we hopefully get these boundary changes approved, and there will be communication via our website, email, call-outs, and then, of course, we're seeking your board approval. And I'm happy to answer any questions. I appreciate your time this evening.
Questions?
To approve.
Second.
A motion by Mrs. Nájera and a second by Mr. Morales. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Dr. Cruz. Okay, now we'll move into executive session. This meeting is to be closed for consultation with legal counsel related to the status and possible resolution of A. Montezuma versus SISD number 2021 DCV 4140 in County Court number 3. for discussion regarding the termination of the probationary contract and pursuing sanctions against teacher from Montwood High School for possible abandonment of his 2022-2023 contract pursuant to TEC 21-21-0 and 19 TAC 249-14 for discussion regarding consideration of the proposed termination of probationary contract of teacher at Mission Early College High School for good cause, to receive letters regarding intrusion detection audit, report findings for Bill Seibert, East Lake High School, HD Healy Elementary, Purple Heart Elementary, Salvador Sanchez Middle School, Socorro High School, to deliberate the superintendent's appraisal, to consider administrative recommendations for principal positions at Jane A. Hambrick School, Keys Academy, Options High School, and Sergeant Roberto E. Duarte Elementary. Director of Information Security and Assistant Principal position at El Dorado High School under the Texas Government Code 551071, 551074, and 551076. Lord.
And item 95B.
And item, correct, and item 95B that was tabled to be discussed in executive session. The time, today's date is, and the time is 7:26, and February 23rd, 2023, right? And we are back from executive session. The time is 8:38. We will start off by doing the tabled item first. It's 9E 5B.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Guerrera, a second by Mr. Barrera. All those, Mr. Castellano, I'm sorry. A motion by Mr. Castellano and a second by Mr. Barrera. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, new business. Discussion and possible action regarding the Montezuma SISD number 2021 DCV 4140. Bob?
Yeah, no action is needed tonight on that matter.
Okay, no action. 12B, discussion possible action regarding termination of the probationary contract pursuing sanctions against a teacher from Montwood High School for possible abandonment of his 2022-2023 contract. Bob?
Yes, the board members, as discussed in closed session, the motion should be considered and approved to terminate the probationary contract of David Munoz Lopez in the best interest of the district, effective at the end of the contract period, and to render a finding that good cause does not exist for Mr. Lopez to abandon his contract, and further to report him to SBEC stating that he has abandoned his contract without good cause and that the district recommends sanctions against this certificate.
Motion to approve.
So I have a motion by Mr. Guerra, or Mr. Guerra, and a second by Mr. Nájera. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. 12C, discussing possible action regarding the termination of probationary contract for a teacher at Mission Early College for good cause. Bob?
Yes, board members, as discussed in closed session, a motion should be considered and approved to terminate the probationary contract of Armando Perez for good cause.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Nájera and a second by Mr. Guerra. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 12B, possible action regarding superintendent's appraisal. Dr. Carmen?
Mr. Mena, I believe no action is necessary at this time.
Okay. Moving on to 12E, consider approval of administrative recommendations. Presenter, Dr. Carmen.
President Mena, members of the board, administration recommends Ruth E. Taylor to assume the role and responsibilities as the new principal of Jane Hambrick Pre-K 8 School.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Nájera and a second by Ms. Nájera. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
President Mena, members of the board, administration recommends Dr. Teresa R. Henches to assume the role and responsibilities as the new principals of Keys Academy and Options High School.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Nájera and a second by Mr. Barrera. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
President.
Go ahead.
Sorry, sir. President Mena, members of the board, administration recommends Jonathan Flores to assume the role and responsibilities as the new principal of Sergeant Roberto Eduarte Elementary School.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Morales and a second by Mr. Nájera. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
President Mena, members of the board, administration recommends Benjamin Ross to assume the role and responsibilities as the new Director of Information Security.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Guerra, a second by Mr. Morales. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Go ahead.
President Mena, members of the board, administration recommends Ana Solis to assume the role and responsibilities as the new Assistant Principal of El Dorado High School.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Nájera, a second by Mr. Morales. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. And that is it. Good night. Meeting adjourned. The time is 8:43. Have a good evening.